thumbs up so you're watching. It's just a quick announcement. Couple of things. First one, I'll be doing a live stream with Simon Bean at 7:30 on Wednesday. Now, if any of you don't know, Simon Bean has been very, very prominent in this movement for the last 2.5 years. We started on this together with Veterans Against Terrorism, and myself and Simon have talked a lot of issues. He's bang up to date with current affairs. He knows everything that's going on with the Euro Army. He's got a lot of information about China and Iran, and also stuff that's happening in South America. So it's going to be an interesting discussion with Simon. And also, hello the end, how are you? Also, we're going to be talking about a big announcement for the veterans, or the veterans in our movement. I'm not going to say any more on that, but there's going to be a big announcement made on that live feed at 7:30 on Wednesday. John Yates is heavily involved in the movement. He focuses a lot on Northern Ireland. He's a Belfast man, born and brought up on the Shankill Road, lived through the Troubles. He's probably seen more action than a lot of veterans in terms of what he saw when he was growing up on the Shankill Road. He's a top bloke, and he'll be joining us on that live stream as well. Good evening. Do you know, one of the problems is with these live feeds, when I do them on my phone, I can't see what the comments are. So if you're seeing comments being blocked by Google, quite possibly being blocked by Google, but it could be down to my ineptitude as well. So it might have been something I did to buzz it up. So it might not have been Google at all. But yeah, Wednesday we'll be doing that. Now, there's another thing I want to talk about very quickly. There's a group doing a demonstration at some point in London. They're using the name of the UK Freedom Movement to publicise that event. UK Freedom Movement has nothing to do with that event. We're not organising that event. We're not taking part in it. I don't know who's doing it. I don't know why they're using the name UK Freedom Movement. There was somebody phoned me a couple of weeks ago about doing an event in London. It might be those people, I'm not sure, but it isn't actually anything to do with the UK Freedom Movement. So if they're using that name, they shouldn't be using it, but you know, it's one of those things, but it's nothing to do with me or the group that I organise and run. So that's that. Obviously, on the point of demonstrations, if you want to go to a demonstration, fill your boots. It's, you know, if you want to go and demonstrate about things that are concerning you. I think one of the things that we're giving up very, very freely in this lockdown is our freedom of assembly. And to me, that is completely wrong. We should be allowed to assemble as long as we're doing it sensibly. I mean, I'm not against social distancing. I'm not against beating this virus, but I think things are going too far. The whole point of putting us in lockdown was to protect the NHS, and particularly to protect those critical care beds. Well, as far as I can see, they've never come anywhere near capacity, and we've completely crashed our economy. There's people sitting in houses at home and literally dying of loneliness, and dying because they're not having any interaction with other people, and yet the government continues dithering on this lockdown. They're still letting 15,000 people a day, is it 15,000 people a day, fly into our country while we're all locked in our houses? Well, I tell you this, I mean, from my point of view, if I want to go around and take my grandkids out for a day out, I'll go and get my grandkids and take them out for a day out. And if the police want to come and nick me for it, good luck to them, because it's absolutely ridiculous the way our civil liberties are being completely destroyed at the minute. So lots of stuff going on. There's lots of demonstrations that will be happening either while the lockdown's on or after the lockdown's finished. And again, destroying your immune system. Yeah, exactly. Destroying your immune system by staying imprisoned in your home. All demos will be stopped for at least 18 months. Yeah, that's what they seem to be trying to do, because it's a very, very easy way to stop us demonstrating against this corrupt government and this corrupt system. Because the reality is, it seems very, very strange that the two countries that have been most hit are the two biggest countries with a big populist movement. In other words, the United States of America and the United Kingdom. What's even more annoying is the way they're looking after illegal immigrants that come into the country over the channel. Absolutely. Nigel Farage has been down at that at Dover, watching these people come in, videoing it, making documentaries. Now, anyone know, you know, I'm not a massive fan of Nigel Farage because of what he did to us when we were trying to turn UKIP into a populist party, and the way Nigel Farage literally stuck the boot into that and set his little vanity project, the Brexit Party. But Nigel Farage has been going down to Dover. He's been standing there watching these people come in, reporting on it. What have the police done? Have they arrested the people that are coming in? Doesn't look like it. They've gone and knocked Nigel Farage's door and tried to tell Nigel Farage to stop doing what he's doing. Whereas people, if you go and sunbathe, if you go and read a book in Hyde Park and sit on a bench, oh, the old bill will be all over you like a rash. Yeah, it's definitely time for big change. One of the things we've got to do, one of the things we've got in America, they are taking, I can't read this, evil Bill Gates vaccine, don't take it. I honestly don't know about anything about Bill Gates, so I can't comment on that one way or the other. And they're coming in around the Essex. Yeah, they are. They're coming in all the time. I mean, we have become a complete soft touch. And okay, we've got Brexit. Looks like we're going to get Brexit. But wait to see the way they'll try and backtrack on Brexit, saying we can't afford Brexit now. We're all broke. We can't afford to leave the European Union. That's going to be the next thing. And remember, no matter how much... I am no fan of Boris Johnson. I am no fan of the Conservative government. But I tell you what, see if those lunatics in Labour get in again. It'll be even worse. And that's why I keep saying it. We need to find a way. And the only way we're going to win this is democratically. We need to find a way of getting our people into Parliament in Westminster, up and down this country. And I was talking to Keith Jenkins up in the northeast of England. I'll be doing a live feed with Keith in 2 weeks' time. I was talking to Keith Jenkins, and Keith has basically done it. When we organised the whole UKIP thing with the football lads and with the veterans, we got massive support for UKIP. Keith Jenkins and I think there's 10 UKIP councillors that got their seats up in the northeast when UKIP was getting wiped out. Because they did it right, they got the support of the local working class community. There's 10 UKIP councillors up there in the northeast. I don't think they really have much to do with mainstream UKIP, but they've done it and they're fighting for our causes on local councils. And I'm not, I'm finished with UKIP, but the reality is there's For Britain, which is Anne-Marie Waters' party. There's lots of people standing as independents. I still think some of the veterans parties are still out there. So there's lots of options for independents to take seats and gather together and make sure we start pushing the Labour Party back. Obviously, I've really no skin in the game because I live in Northern Ireland, as you know, and it's very, very difficult to break the done sooner or later as well. Richard, I can't believe you haven't heard. I haven't read about it, mate. Listen, I've got too much on my mind to think about Bill Gates. There's a lot going on. Bill Gates is the least of my worries at the minute, bro. Patriots. Yeah, that's another thing that's been lost in all this. People have stopped talking about the fact that there are still 30,000 radical Islamists in this country who want to wage war against this country. There is an enemy within. There are jihadists in this country who want to murder and bomb and slaughter anybody that doesn't agree with their narrow vision of religion and with their narrow vision of how the world should be run. And that's another thing that we need to speak about. We need to be able to talk about Islam on all these platforms, because anybody that actually looks at the doctrines of Islam, that looks at the Quran, that looks at the Hadith, that looks at the history of Islam, can only come to one conclusion: that Islam is a malevolent force. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous force. And it's caused huge problems wherever it goes. Now, I'm not talking about Muslim people. What I'm talking about are the doctrines that people follow and believe and where they lead to. If you believe in a supremacist religion that says we are the best of all people and that Jews and Christians are the worst of all people, then you're going to act in a certain way. And that is just one of the problems that we've got with Islam and with with people that take the Quran literally. That's the problem we got. I would say a lot of Muslims don't really practice their religion properly, but the ones that do practice it properly, that's what gives us a huge, huge problem. And of course, again, we're censored and we're not allowed to say those things. Free speech has been squashed too long, Richard, and fellow patriots, we need to be ready for the end. That is the big issue. When I first got into this movement in 2017, thanks Kevin. When I first got into this movement in 2017, when we wrote the mission statement for Veterans Against Terrorism, the biggest thing that I was stressing was freedom of speech, because if our freedom of speech is taken away, we are absolutely finished. If we can't talk about things, watch out for China. Yeah, they've already brought most of this. Yeah, China is an absolute, we'll be talking about this on Wednesday. China is an absolutely huge issue. David Cameron, Gordon Brown, George Osborne, what's the other fella's name? David Cameron. Oh, Tony Blair. All of those guys, ex-prime ministers, ex-chancellor of the exchequer, have been sucking up to China for years, making deals with China. Gordon Brown doing things on Chinese TV, saying how great the Chinese education system and how great the welfare system in China is. I'm not kidding. I mean, you can see it's on YouTube. George Osborne got a job in the city that paid him £650,000 a year. Why did he get that job? Because he had connections in China. So he could advise those financial institutions about how to do deals with China. That's the problem that we've got. David Cameron, do you know what his job was last year? To run around the City of London to try and raise money for a massive infrastructure project that's going to bring road, rail and shipping from China into Western Europe, into Africa and into the rest of the world. That's what David Cameron was doing. Our ex-Prime Minister, prostituting himself, dropping his pants for China. He didn't do very well. Nobody bought the deal and nobody took him serious. Can't be a very good salesperson. But that's what David Cameron was doing last year, selling his soul to a country that is an enemy of the United Kingdom. Think about this. We've just celebrated VE Day, when we defeated Nazi Germany, and we've got David Cameron last year. Imagine if David Cameron had been about in the 1930s. No doubt he'd have been selling tanks and aircraft carriers to Adolf Hitler. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to do a live stream on, probably my first live stream on VK as well. But like I say, there's a lot of things happening. I've been pushing it for a while, but getting involved with Hearts of Oak. It's a movement that's got Sargon in it, Tommy's in it, loads of other patriots in it, people who are, and the good thing about Hearts of Oak is they've got a lot of ex-establishment people who are basically, yeah, Nazism came from socialism. Exactly, they're called national. When I talk about Nazis, I call them like they are, National Socialists. And of course, we've got National Socialists in Scotland. They're called the SNP, and we've got National Socialists in Ireland. They're called Sinn Féin. They're exactly the same. They're no different. They're totalitarians, and they want to rule your life and control you, as all Nazis do. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? How do we stand up for this? Well, on Wednesday, hopefully, we'll be able to. They are anti-freedom, 100%. There's a lot going on in Scotland. The SNP are trying to push through legislation that will silence any opposition to their progressive agenda. It's absolutely despicable. I've done videos on it. I spoke about it with Anne-Marie, and once we get a bit of a head of steam after this dreadful lockdown, let's get up to Scotland and let's do a demonstration. Let's test their laws on freedom of speech. Let's push it to the limits and see if we all get arrested and locked up for 7 years. Another thing, obviously, Speaker's Corner needs to get another visit. I was speaking with Hatton the other day, and there's talk about David Woods coming across from this thing with the, I don't know how many Qurans they've got now, 27, 28, 32, whatever it is. This infallible book that's only ever been one Arabic copy. Apparently there's at least 27 Arabic copies. But anyway, Speaker's Corner is due another visit, because Islamic fanatics at Speaker's Corner are still bullying Christians, atheists, Jews, Hindus, Sikhs, anybody else they can choose to pick on. And every now and then we just need to pay them a visit. We need to let them know that it's not their corner. Speaker's Corner is the place of free speech. It's not a mosque. It's not a place to go and bow down to Allah. It's a place to speak your mind. Muslims 100% need the gospel. The problem is, when you preach the gospel to them at Speaker's Corner, they will not listen. They will just shout Allahu Akbar at you and threaten to kill you. But they never do that when a couple of hundred football lads and veterans turn up. In fact, they didn't do it when 15 football lads and veterans turned up. That's another story. That's another story. Luton Lion, 63 watching. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Let's just keep going. Nigel's doing well. I don't always agree with him, but yeah, absolutely. I think Nigel Farage has done a fantastic job during this crisis. He hasn't just rolled over. He's been sensible, and he's agreed to abide by the rules as much as possible. But he's acting as a journalist. I mean, Nigel Farage is a radio presenter. He can quite rightly go to Dover as a journalist, the same way Tommy, as a journalist, can go and do his journalist activities if he wants to. And nobody can stop him from doing it because that's his job. And this is the thing about citizens journalism. The state hates it. And of course, we've got lots of problems, not just with, yes, David Woods is an absolutely fantastic guy. I mean, David Woods has woken up so many people. There's a friend of mine up in the Northwest. She's an ex-Muslim. She's involved in politics now. And she was brought out of Islam watching David Woods' video. She wasn't radical. She was just a nominal Muslim. And she realised what Islam was. And she left Islam because of watching David Woods' videos. And again, he's had a lot of death threats. He's had a lot of people say that Acts 17 Apologetics is the channel. So if you haven't seen that channel, get on that channel, have a look at it. Yeah, he worked to get out of the EU for 20 years. I don't agree with all these years. Yeah, talking about Nigel Farage. Yeah, he's great. So anyway, I've waffled on for too long now. I was only going to do a 5-minute live feed to advertise this Wednesday, 7:30, Simon Bean. On this channel, we're going to make a very, very big announcement for veterans that are in our movement, and John Yates will be with us as well. And yeah, let's do it on 7:30 on Wednesday. Hopefully, we'll not have the same technical issues that I've had today. Tommy over Nigel, absolutely, Michelle, 100%. Tommy's the real deal. And you know, whenever we first got involved in this movement 2.5 years ago, there was a lot of people were very, very, let's just say, unenthusiastic about supporting Tommy. And back then I stood for Tommy and said, listen, he is the man that has done this for 10 years. We're just starting in this. Get your support behind Tommy Robinson. And I'm glad to see that most people that started in the movement then have really put the support behind Tommy and realised that he is the real deal, that he's been doing this at great cost, personal, physical and psychological for a long, long time. So with some great people in this movement, that's one of the things that encouraged me. There's some crazy whack jobs, as there always are in every movement, but there's some really, really good people and really solid people. And we are going to win this, and we are going to win this great battle against Islamization, against the globalists, against the far left. Far left are very dangerous. What we've got to realise about the far left, they have infiltrated every single institution in the state. They've infiltrated the education system at all levels. They've infiltrated the police at all levels. They've infiltrated the society. I haven't seen Jared lately and haven't spoken to Jared for a long time. I should get in touch with Jared. But yeah, the far left are far more dangerous than probably any other grouping, because they're only one banana skin away from having complete control of the country. At least with the Conservatives, common purpose, exactly, James. Common purpose of the problem there. At least with the Conservatives, you get the odd good one. Most of them are absolutely rubbish. I mean, I've got very little time for any of them. But there's the odd good one, and they kind of hold things back a little bit. But guys, we need a complete sea change in politics. We need to get control. We need the people, the working class people of this country, to take control of the government. Yeah, I like some Conservatives as well. I mean, Priti Patel seems okay. That guy that was the Defence Secretary, Gavin Williamson, he seems okay. There's a few of them that are okay. But of course, it's a party machine, and Mark Francois, yeah. But again, they all sold Northern Ireland out when it came to the Brexit deal, so that's another story. Yeah, Baker. There's a few that are okay in the Conservative Party, but the reality is they won't talk about Islam. They won't stand and talk about it. And what I've found as well is the far right, the real far right, won't talk about Islam either. The Nazis won't talk about Islam. because they agree with what most Muslims believe. You know, they agree with what most Muslims believe. That's right. Priti Patel is not doing a job. That's another thing. There has to be a demonstration. There has to be a demonstration at the Home Office. We need to go to the Home Office and demand that they release the investigation into the rape of the daughters of England, into the rape jihad. There needs to be an investigation into the rape jihad. They're doing nothing about it. That report has been covered up. And again, it's very convenient with all this going on, isn't it? It's very, very convenient. Listen, I've waffled enough, guys. Thanks, everybody, for getting on this live stream and having a bit of crack. Yeah, they really are kissing the bums of Islam. That's 100% true. And again, it's because Islam, the Islamists are infiltrating government as well. Either picture of the head of the London Fatwa Council hugging Sajid Javid, wasn't it, when he was Home Secretary? Give me a big hug and a kiss. Meeting with military leaders, meeting with different departments. Can't remember the last time I saw Christians doing that. London Fatwa Council, look them up. Folk need to still sign. Yes, the petition needs to be signed. That petition that got over 120,000 signatures, and I think it was started by Hearts of Oak. That petition needs to still be going round, and people still need to be signing that petition, demanding that that this report that went out of the Home Office is published. The group, that's what we're talking about. We need to face. We need to get outside the Home Office and do a massive demonstration. And the good thing is we can all wear masks now. We're all allowed to wear masks if we go to a demonstration. Because it seems that it'll stop the spread of coronavirus. So we can all disguise ourselves at the next demonstration, which it's normally what the left do, but we can do it for a change. What's happening here? Government have to explain their reason. Yes, the government have to. Yeah, 100%. Javid is not to be trusted. The bottom line is none of these establishment politicians are to be trusted. The mainstream media can't be trusted. And we need to keep the pressure on. We need to keep the pressure on these organisations. Facebook needs to be pressurised. The BBC needs to be pressurised. Any of these organisations that are banning us and stopping us having our freedom of speech, the Guardian newspaper, all of these organisations that are just political activist organisations, that's all they are. What's Nigel got against? I don't know what Nigel's got against Tommy. I mean, I think he just felt threatened, to be quite honest with you. Guys, my battery's running out. I'm going to go. I'll say it again, 7:30 this Wednesday. Myself, Simon Bean and John Yates. Big announcement coming. Great discussion with Simon. He's always got a lot to say. He's very interesting. Then the week after that, Keith Jenkins from the northeast of England is going to tell us how to get elected as councillors, because Keith's done it. He's a councillor and he's doing very, very well. He's shaking things up in the northeast of England. The Labour Party hate him. He's given them a massive headache. Him and about 10 other lads up there, lads and lasses, all got voted in. And if he can do it in the northeast, if you get organised on the ground, you get on local council, it's the first step to taking this country back. Because the only way we're going to do it, guys, I know a lot of people are talking about civil unrest and civil disorder. Sorry, it ain't going to work. It's not going to work. You're not going to do this through force. The only way that we can do this is through political means. And that's what we've got to be aiming for. Getting people like Tommy, Anne-Marie Waters, Sargon, whoever else is doing a good job of representing us, get those people into Parliament, get them elected as councillors, and eventually get them elected to Parliament and shake this thing up properly. Because Brexit is not a done deal, and Brexit is not a finished job. We need to do a lot more than just Brexit. So anyway, Simon Bean, let's have a great live feed on Wednesday. See you soon. Bye.